Hello, welcome back to the stream. It's been 2 days since the previous one because I decided to take the day off for Halloween and hang out with my family a bit. Alright, so what are we doing today? That is the question. If I recall correctly, I fixed some basic player functions. I made it so that well, there's like a lot of code that I apparently edited at some point but never tested that only activates during certain specific situations. Like I made it so that there's like a function for consuming food or showing items. I didn't test those until yesterday, and I realized they were broken, and I fixed them. All right. So, anyways, let's get back to doing what we were doing yesterday, I think, or at least continuing the methodology. I think we were finished with the food consumption function. Oh, actually, I think I played with the idea of changing some of the user interface stuff. Because currently, the player, not the, not the player, the inventory is looking kind of weird. You know, see, like this is like overly stretched vertically. It should be a lot smaller. Although to be fair, the whole thing is stretched out because it's designed in such a way that it's like it scales awkwardly, basically. Hold on a second. I'm going to change some stuff about the display in the project. Dang it, I forgot how to do that. Rendering, viewport, nope. Oh, here it is. I'm just gonna set it to the default resolution, which is 1024 by 600. Kind of weird, I think. I think it's a weird default resolution, but we'll deal with it. I'll just assume that it'll be like the default aspect ratio. Although originally I was kind of hoping on it being like a 3x4 game, but I guess I should take into account the fact that the average person, including myself, uses a 16:9 aspect ratio. So I should probably I could just do that, I think. Just shrink. Let's just do. What if I just switch to default rendering? What does the game look like then? If I do that. I don't really like that. I want the UI elements to always be the same aspect ratio and size, not necessarily the same resolution, but they shouldn't follow the contours of the window border is what I'm trying to say. Okay. I want to see what each of these modes do. Does oh, okay, okay. I don't like how the side gets cut off when I extend it too far. But I do like how the actual UI elements seem to scale at a consistent manner. I'm just trying to push this all up so it's not not excessively stretched. It's just an adjustment thing. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So this is for equipment. Let's do the do this button here. It's a little bit small. This one too. Let's change the text as well. It's probably good. Alright, this is something that I've been meaning to change. These buttons are hanging off the bottom. Why is it stretching out like that? It's weird. It's weird that I have to like manually adjust it like this. Something is slightly crooked. I'm not sure what it is. I'm mistaken, I guess. Yeah, something's definitely crooked. But what is it? You see that? It's like in the width, like the angle, something is inconsistent. What's going on? Also, why is it using that instead of the main material that I've got? There we go. Oof. Oh, I'm using. I see the problem. The problem is I'm using panels instead of panel containers. Oh, I'm using completely the wrong thing. Man, man, oh man. There we go. Wonder if I have the same problem in here. Probably. Yep, yep, I do. And this can just be a panel because I don't want it to contain anything right now. It's just this big block over here is just gonna be there temporarily because I don't want these buttons looking all squished. Okay. There we go. Now we don't have things poking out the bottom with the panel. What if it's gonna resize better? Let's test it out. Okay. Problem is those black bars I don't like. Okay, so I want the window to be 800 by 600 by default, but I also want to be able to resize it on the X and Y axis, I think. I still need to figure out what these all do. Okay, so this keeps the resolution at 800 by 600 no matter how much I stretch the image or resize the window. So it's just a 800 by 600 but stretched out. This is actually what I had before. But I want to get rid of those black bars without. What I want to do is I want the menus to stay in the 3:4 aspect ratio, while allowing the player to play the game in widescreen without the black bars. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. Keep height. Does this work? Okay, so now things are getting stretched. I don't want that. Uh, let's see if Google has anything to say about this. Huh. I would like to be able to keep the 2D stuff at the same aspect ratio, but have the 3D stuff be displayed whatever. Doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to be possible though. What does shrink do? Oh, interesting. It literally like changes the display scale. That's interesting. Well, the display scale of like the of the 2D stuff, which is fascinating. I imagine it would be useful for high DPI displays. Maybe I can enforce this in here. I'm just I'm just experimenting with stuff right now. Curious of how this will behave now that I've gotten rid of the anchors. Okay. Okay. All right. I actually like this. Okay, that is good. So the aspect ratio of the 2D stuff in the middle here is is adjusting. Is staying the same no matter what. While the 3D stuff I can freely adjust itself according to the scale, and it's currently running at the same resolution as as whatever the window happens to be. This is what I want. It allows me to have my it allows me to have my 3:4 aspect ratio and have the GUI displayed correctly. But if the player prefers to play in 16:9, the GUI will still look fine, and you get more, and you can see wider because the viewport is wider. All right, I think I'm done with that. Let's actually move on to some more gameplay stuff. Whoa, What is that? Or not gameplay stuff, quest stuff. I need to continue testing out the game because I have developed the quest up until a certain point, but now I'm basically going back and re-implementing stuff according to the quest system. Home. Player house. Let's delete the save. And begin. Oh, right. Of course. I had that set to display just for the sake of testing. What a beautiful day outside. Shame I can't see out there from this point of view. Oh. Okay. That's a problem. So right now, the player thinks that he can jump on top of this ledge here, but he can't. So how am I gonna fix that? I have an idea. So the player does this by firing a raycast down in front of him. If it happens to hit something that's like above knee height or something, then that is a surface that he can jump up onto. And the problem is that surface, or that check, the check for that, or the raycast that is used is on the same, uses the same layer as the ground. And in hindsight, I realize now I don't necessarily want that to always be the case. I mean, theoretically, it should. You'd think it would be, but when you have collision situations like this, it gets in the way because the walls and floor are all on the first layer and are all on the first collision layer, but when you have like overlapping wall colliders that, so this here is technically separate from this window, and when you face the wall and walk into it, that raycast check is inside of the glass here and pointing down, which triggers the auto jump in the game. So I need to fix that. Quick jump check, that's what I called it. What is that mesh doing here? Okay, so I need to switch it to a different collision mask. Items, climbable. I think climbable. Only problem is that now I have to mark every single climbable object, or I have to make it so that they all exist on collision layer 3. But hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah, I think that's correct. Of course, now it's gonna break a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna have to go and fix that. Although it may be a blessing in disguise, because I think there have been times in the past where the auto jump was triggered when I didn't actually want it to. Like I think around over here, or maybe not. But yeah, I do recall there being times when the auto jump would get triggered when I didn't want it to, and I think that should remedy it. So let's try this again and see if I'm right about my theory. Yep, I was right. There's no longer jumping up. What a beautiful day outside. Mixer and desk with computer. There's several programs on the desktop. Which program would you like to run? I'm playing this on keyboard and mouse, so that thing about tilting the stick further doesn't really apply to me right now. Minor typo. I should add an interaction for the bed where the player says, "I'm not tired right now," or something like that. Maybe in the future I can add a function where you sleep in the bed and suddenly then it transitions over to nighttime. I think that would be a good idea. Let's explore the house some more. Forgive my stutter. I'm not sure why I do it. Of course, this is the mom's room. Ah. Now I know what. Now I remember when the so this bathtub used to trigger the auto jump when I didn't want it to. So now that problem is solved, and that's good. And you can't walk over here because I deliberately made it so that you can't walk vertically underneath the camera. Maybe I should put an obstacle over there just to make it a bit more believable. Because I imagine when the player plays this game, they might walk in here and be like, "Huh, why can't I stand over here? There's like an invisible wall or something." And that's because there is an invisible wall. Because the game spazzes out if you walk directly into the camera. So instead of fixing that, I just decided to make it so that you can't walk under the camera. Oh. Okay, so you see that yellow arrow? That is actually a mini-map thing. So in all the levels that have mini-maps, it's actually displayed in a viewport. There's actually like so in all the maps that have mini-maps in them, so not this one. This doesn't have a mini-map, but I think this one does. Well, not anymore, but it did at one point. Yeah, maybe it's here and I just have to turn it on. Okay, well. So when I go back and re-implement, when I go back and re-implement mini-maps, it's actually like a duplicate of the whole mesh. It's like underneath the whole level on its own separate layer, and then displayed by a camera that's by an isometric camera that hovers above the level, and then displayed over here in like a viewport. And then this arrow thing, which is the same size, which appears to be the same size no matter how far away it is. It's directly attached to the player, so it gets displayed on the minimap as the player. You can see where the player is on the minimap as that yellow arrow. Right now, the problem is right now you can see it with the main camera. And that's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to see that. That tells me is that I need to go and fix that. So let's go and do that. Let's do this camera. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in this engine that just isn't implemented. Like LOD. Has that ever worked? Has LOD ever worked in Godot engine? I don't know anything. I don't know very much about version 4, but I'm using 3.6 and it is not implemented, as far as I know. Hold on. I'm just gonna quickly Google that just to make sure I'm not accidentally lying. Okay, so there is an LOD system. Oh, let me click the house. Oh, right, that's why. LOD range. Hmm. Is this implemented? Well, I'm not using it anyway, so why am I wasting my time on this? All right. Okay, so I eat this. Oh, okay. I know what I was supposed to do next. I'm supposed to fix these button icons because they're not showing the item that they're supposed to show. these little things over here. They're too small actually right now. I think I need to size them up. Change the name of this. Let's call it Controls Display. Maybe I should make it a separate thing. Where should I save? Problem is, where do I save it? Oh, autoload. Of course. Let's adjust the positioning. Oops. That's the wrong thing. All right, now let's round off these numbers. Ooh, actually, I think they're a bit too close to the corner of the screen. Let's do 20. Oof. Oh, it's the wrong direction. Okay, I think that should be good. Increase the font size of the letters in there. It's a bit small. By the way, I don't know how to use themes, so I just use theme overrides. Yeah. Empty? What? What? Am I seriously just using like a generic font here? That can't be right. Okay. Well, alrighty then. Oh, I am using a font. I think. Hmm. Weird that it's not being applied to all of them. I assumed it was a shared material. Oh, I guess that wouldn't make sense because this is green. The other ones are naturally blue, yellow, and red. Okay. Apparently I did this in a really clunky way. Okay. Is there a way to separate this from the container? Oh, okay, there we go. So this is a quantity label for whatever item happens to be assigned to this button, if it happens to be an item that has a quantity. The reason I couldn't move it around before is because it was a child of the this assignable button Y, which is a panel container, which enforces, I think it enforces rules on the contained items, at least the immediate children, not the grandchildren. So by making this quantity label a child of this texture rect, which is supposed to be an image for whatever happens to be assigned to this button, and I can move it around freely. think tomorrow I'm going to overhaul this UI, this button system here. I'll finish, at least I'll finish working on it tomorrow. I'm probably going to do some scripting because currently, or the way that it was before, all of this stuff was controlled by like this monolith script that controlled, like, it was basically just a script called user interface, and it had like references to a whole bunch of stuff. And in hindsight, it was a terrible idea, and I'm going to completely redo it. So yeah, it is 6 o'clock, which means that it is time for me to quit. I'm sorry I didn't get a whole lot done today. I guess I didn't get. I guess it wasn't such a bad day, but I didn't get any like. None of the progress actually happened with like the actual game. I did fix a few bugs here and there, but I think this is still kind of important, so it's not a huge deal. Anyways, have a good night. Maybe I'll see you next time.